Hey, what's going on, guys? Fl4k here with a brand new video today. We're going to be going over the Fl4k and Amara steel trees. Feel free to pause the video at any time. Let's get right into it. To start off the first confirm, we have Mayhem 11 with no modifiers. So for those that don't want the modifiers, you could just crank up Mayhem 11 and have absolutely no modifiers or anything to hold you back. That is confirmed. Getting into Fl4k's steel tree now, we have his new steel tree. It's called Gravity Snare. So Gravity Snare is basically going to be tossing up some traps. It is going to lift up your enemies and then slam them into the ground to stun them. It is amazing. Its radius is wide, and you can even use augments later on in the tree to increase and fully enhance the size radius with one of his augments. One of those augments allows you to increase it by, I believe, 100%. We'll be seeing it a little bit later on in this video. Forage here, whenever an enemy is trapped, you can get ammo, health regen, and shield boosters. It's a little bit of a support style for Fl4k. There's a lot of pet bonuses that are in this tree as well that will really coincide with the blue tree, like shield capacity so that you can get survivability. And we talked about survivability in the initial reveal. And there's also a way so that your pet can get a copy of your shield. This one here is wide net. Your duration and radius is increased by, yeah, there it is, 100% trap radius, and the duration also lasts for 25% longer. This is going to be a very good skill if you're going to be focused around Gravity Snare. Trap card, if your pet goes into fight for your life, your trap will go out to the target that hits and downs your pet so that you can get some traps that are going on as well. It's not really a primary skill for me, but if you can utilize trap cards might just be just for you. This one's blind with anger. If you do a knock-up, like, it's replaced with confusion. So instead, you'd replace your knockup and your stun with confusion, kind of like dominance is in the blue Capstone. Pretty cool. Into the next part of the skill tree, we have the pets. We have Ion Loader. You get the shock orbs that you can shoot kind of like the ASMD weapon, and your pet is also equipped with a shock sniper rifle. You get elemental resistances that is passive here with this. And whenever you do an attack command, your Ion Loader will do a laser beam that is focused on the enemy that you use attack command on. Really cool. Not my favorite, however. So we have the Bull Loader. This is the next augment. You drop the sniper and you go into getting a shotgun. He also does a roundhouse melee attack. And if you use attack command, he turns into the bulldozer, kind of like in Borderlands 2, to charge the enemy that you use attack command on, and it will knock them up into the air to stun them. But it also does a lot of major damage. The big one here is shield capacity. Shield capacity is going to be going into a lot of this tree. So having this passive shield capacity just for having your bull loader alive is beautiful, and it's going to synergize very well with the build. Next we have the War Loader. You drop the gun, you go in to pick up a fire shotgun instead, and you also have grenades equipped. Whenever you use attack command, you use a barrage of missiles at that target, and your fire rate is increased passively by about 12%. The fire shotgun does a lot of damage, and if you have the pet damage and crits and pet bonuses, that fire shotgun is going to do major damage. Warloader is also going to be a very good choice for this build. Alright, so we're going to be diving into the skills a little bit. We have Gotta Go Fast with movement speed and damage. This is going all into your pet. It is a Sonic reference, of course, but pet damage is increased and pet movement speed is increased. Taking a slow, tanky, clunky Warloader and making them actually have some movement speed so that they can walk up and use their fire shotguns or their shotguns, their nades, charging in at enemies, whatever you are going to be using. This is going to be key for that. Next up we have Throat Ripper. Throat Ripper is a pet's attacks have a chance to score a crit, and it deals increased damage. Earlier in the blue tree, pets can only crit off of melee attacks. Throat Ripper will make it so that ranged attacks also work for the crit. So if you're using the shotgun with your Warloader, you can get a crit with the shotgun instead, dealing increased and major damage. We have Lethal Force authorized, and whenever your loader goes into fight for your life, it turns into an EXP loader instead, and it charges at the enemy that killed it, dealing increased damage. You can probably increase the damage with this with like area of effect damage, Nova damage, splash damage is probably another one that you can increase this damage by. It's already doing 60,000 damage without any boost to it, so this is pretty good. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And next up we have Take This. Flax pet gains a copy of Flax shield, so there's going to be a lot of interactions with this. Stinger shield, Old God shield, Frozen Heart, Snowshoe, things like that. Take This is going to be a very good skill. Monkey Do is the next one. What Monkey Do is that oh no, sorry, Woolly Armor. Woolly Armor does damage reduction. Monkey Do is the critical hit damage. You get an increased critical hit damage from your pet, and whenever your pet scores a crit, you do increased weapon damage based off of that weapon damage. It's very, very nice. Basically you coincide with your pet doing crits and you doing weapon damage following that. It does major damage for both you and your pet, so you can both benefit off of this very nicely. Into the next skill. This one's Woolly Armor. You get the damage reduction, not even a challenge. You get cooldown rate as a stacking skill. Feel free to pause the video if I miss or skip any skills, by the way. So this one is the Capstone for the tree. So whenever you activate your action skill, you get increased shield capacity for a short time, and you start instantly beginning to recharge your shields. Recharging your shield is going to be the survivability with shield capacity for 100%, and it's a 15-second duration. Whenever Flax Pack throws a critical hit, you get a portion of the shields are restored. This is going to be really nice. So now we're into Amara's Phase Flare. This is going to be the Amara skill. There's a lot of orbs and stuff that are going on with this, so try to keep up as much as you can. Feel free to pause the video anytime. You send out an orb, and you can melee the orb to send it to enemies. Those orbs are going to do damage to them, and whatever melee damage you send into your orbs, the more damage that is increased. It does stack, it does gain, it's very good. So going into the augments, we have Glow Up, splash damage to enemies. Amara's orb grants nearby HP. This also allows you to do second winds for your allies. This is very Maya-esque. But yeah, you replace your splash damage by healing your allies by throwing the orb at your teammates instead. So this is going to be more of a co-op skill rather than a solo skill. If you're a solo player, you don't really need this. Next up into the augments. There is Shooting Star. So whenever you send out the orb, you do damage, and whenever you fly towards an enemy, it does increased overall damage to the orb, and the more that you do overall to your orb, it does more elemental damage. You have an opportunity to bring your orb back to you so that you can get the cooldown back as necessary and as needed. But yeah, this is another one of those orbs where you just send them flying around and you can fling them at your enemies to do increased damage. This is going to be firing continued elemental projectiles, and it's going to be coinciding with how Phase Flare works as well. So Light Fantastic is very good. You do elemental damage with the elemental orb, and the elemental orb gains increased damage the more that you're sending damage into your orb. It's another one of those Phase Flare interactions. Expedite is amazing. You get action skill cooldown rate after in between casts of your action skill, and it's by 30% per enemy killed. So the more targets that you kill, the more that you lock down. Very nice. Heavy rain is with projectile speed and splash damage, so if you're looking for Mala 1 weapons, this is very nice for Mala 1 weapons. No mistakes in nature, you get melee damage, and whenever you do a status effect, and that melee damage is by 65% for a duration of 12 seconds. Very, very nice. Trust in yourself, you might want to pause for that one. Go with the flow, you might want to pause for this one. Whenever Amara freezes an enemy, she gains increased movement speed and weapon damage for a short time. This is going to be very driver class mod-esque. It's you can use this with the green steel so that you can get more stacks and more damage based on that. It's very, very nice. It does a lot of damage. Having the weapon damage is also important because you can have this coincide with your face puncher. Because it doesn't do gun damage, it does weapon damage. It'll be working with that. Your cold, you can change your action skill to cryo damage, so if you need to freeze an enemy, you do have that on your side. Unweave the Rainbow, you get bonus damage as your attuned element whenever you do melee damage or splash damage to frozen targets. 33% damage to frozen targets via melee or splash damage. Very nice with the action skill Augment. Is very, very good. You have kind of a bit of a versatility if you want to do melee or if you want to do weapons, so this is really nice as a hybrid. Combo Breaker, you do melee damage, has a chance to reset your cooldown, and has a 20% chance to just completely reset it by doing melee damage. Any type of melee damage, by the way, very, very good. For one skill, it's amazing. Joyful Freedom, action skill, Amara gains increased damage for a short time by another 70% melee damage. This is going to interact with the green tree very, very nicely, and our previous melee damage skills, this is going to hit hard. Here's a few skills here that you might want to pause because they're just going to be scanning over them very quickly, so I would recommend pausing here if you want to keep up with all of those skills themselves. Body and Mind, Amara's attack steal bonus splash damage for a short time. It's pretty nice as a kill steal. You kill enemies very, very quickly and very, very easily, and this is going to be exceptional for improving your splash damage. Free the Soul, it's shards that go out and hit enemies whenever you kill a frozen enemy. Those shards will do increased damage and pierce enemies. It's very, very nice. And finally, there is the Capstone in this build. The Capstone is not really the greatest. I would not recommend it, honestly. There's a lot better that you can use. You get elemental damage resistance for a short time, and it does not affect elemental immunity. So this is going to be both the Fl4k and Amara skill tree reveals. If you have anything that you would like to talk about, feel free to. My name is Fl4k, guys, and I'm signing on out of here.